The incident of Krishna's breaking the pot of yogurt and being bound by Mother Yashoda took place on Diwali day. Among all the cows of Nanda Maharaj, several of Mother Yashoda's cows only ate grasses so flavorful that the grasses would automatically flavor the milk. Mother Yashoda wanted to collect the milk from these cows, make it into yogurt, and churn it into butter personally, since she thought that her child Krishna was going to the houses of the neighborhood Gopas and Gopis to steal butter because Krishna did not like the milk and yogurt ordinarily prepared at home. And while churning butter, Mother Yashoda was singing about all the childhood activities of Krishna. Mother Yashoda did not want to forget Krishna's activities at any time. And meanwhile, Krishna was sleeping within a room. And as soon as Krishna got up, Krishna became hungry and went to Yashoda. Wanting to stop her from churning and allow him to drink the milk of her breast, Krishna stopped Yashoda from moving the churning rod. Everything in the household affairs of Mother Yashoda was meant for Krishna. Although Krishna was drinking the breast milk of Mother Yashoda, when she saw that the milk pan in the kitchen was overflowing, Yashoda had to take care of it immediately, and thus Yashoda left Krishna, who then became very angry for not having become fully satisfied with the drinking of milk from her breast. As it is, sometimes one must take care of more than one important item of business for the same purpose. Therefore, Mother Yashoda was not unjust when she left Krishna to take care of the overflowing milk. And it is only natural that when a child becomes angry, it can begin crying with false tears in its eyes. So Krishna did this, and biting his reddish lips with his teeth, Krishna broke the pot with a stone, entered a room, and began to eat the freshly churned butter. Upon seeing the pot broken and Krishna not present, Yashoda definitely concluded that the breaking of the pot was the work of her son Krishna. There was no doubt about it. Mother Yashoda was able to trace Krishna by following his butter-smeared footprints. Yashoda saw that Krishna was stealing butter, and thus she smiled. Meanwhile, the crows also entered the room and came out in fear. Thus, Mother Yashoda found Krishna stealing butter and very anxiously looking here and there. Yogis, mystics, they want to catch Krishna as Paramatma, and with great austerities and penances, they try to approach Krishna, and yet they cannot. However, we will see here that Krishna is about to be caught by Yashoda and is running away in fear. So this illustrates the difference between the bhakta and the yogi. Yogis cannot reach Krishna, but for pure devotees like Mother Yashoda, Krishna is already caught. Krishna was even afraid of Mother Yashoda's stick. Yogis cannot capture Krishna by severe penances and austerities. But Mother Yashoda, despite all obstacles, was finally able to catch Krishna without difficulty. From these dealings between Mother Yashoda and Krishna, we can understand the exalted position of a pure devotee in loving service to the Lord. Krishna became so dependent on Mother Yashoda that when Yashoda simply showed Krishna the stick in her hand, Krishna admitted to being an offender and began to cry like an ordinary child. Mother Yashoda, of course, did not want to chastise her beloved Krishna very much, and therefore Yashoda immediately threw the stick away and simply rebuked Krishna by saying, "Now I shall bind you so that you cannot commit any further offensive activities, and nor for the time being can you play with your playmates." This shows the position of a pure devotee in contrast with others like jnanis, yogis, and the followers of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies in regards to the transcendental nature of the Absolute Truth. Mother Yashoda wanted to bind Krishna not in order to chastise Krishna, but because Yashoda thought that Krishna was so restless that Krishna might leave the house in fear, and that would be another disturbance. Therefore, out of full affection, in order to stop Krishna from leaving the house, Yashoda wanted to bind Krishna with rope. Mother Yashoda wanted to impress upon Krishna that since Krishna was afraid merely to see her stick, Krishna should not perform such disturbing activities as breaking the container of yogurt and butter and distributing its contents to the monkeys. Mother Yashoda did not care to understand who Krishna was and how Krishna's power spreads everywhere. This is an example of pure love for Krishna. For Krishna is greater than the greatest, being unlimited and all-pervading. So how can it be possible for the all-pervading to be measured or bound? And then again, Krishna is the time factor. Therefore, Krishna is all-pervading, not only in space, but also in time. We have measurements of time, but although we are limited by past, present, and future, for Krishna, these do not exist. Every individual person can be measured, but Krishna had already previously shown that although Krishna is an individual, the entire cosmic manifestation is within Krishna's mouth. All these points being considered, Krishna cannot be measured. How then did Yashoda want to measure Krishna and bind him? We must conclude that this took place simply on the platform of pure transcendental love, and that was the only cause. Krishna is available only to devotees. Devotees can handle Krishna because they act on the basis of loving service. Thus, Mother Yashoda wanted to bind Krishna. So here is the first chapter in Krishna's exhibition of unlimited potency to Mother Yashoda. When Yashoda tried to bind Krishna, the rope was too short. Krishna had already shown his unlimited potency by killing Putana, Shakata Asura, and Trinavarta Asura. Now, Krishna exhibited another vibhuti, or display of potency, to his mother. Unless I agree, you cannot bind me. Thus, although Mother Yashoda, in her attempt to bind Krishna, added one rope after another, ultimately she was a failure. But when Krishna agreed, however, Yashoda was ultimately successful. So in other words, one must be in transcendental love with Krishna. But that does not mean that one can control Krishna. Only when Krishna is satisfied with one's devotional service does Krishna allow himself to be bound. Krishna reveals more and more to the devotee as the devotee advances in service. Actually, this incident was wonderful because Krishna was only a child with very small hands. To bind Krishna should have required only a rope not more than 2 feet long. All the ropes in the house combined together might have been hundreds of feet long. But still, Krishna was impossible to bind, for all the ropes together were still too short. Naturally, Mother Yashoda and her gopi friends thought, "How is this possible?" Seeing this funny affair, all of them were smiling. The first rope was short by a measurement the width of 2 fingers, and after the second rope was added, it was still 2 fingers too short. And if the shortness of all the ropes were added together, it must have amounted to the width of hundreds of fingers. Certainly this was astonishing. And so this was another exhibition of Krishna's inconceivable potency to his mother and his mother's friends. When Mother Yashoda and the other ladies finally saw that Krishna, although decorated with many bangles and other jeweled ornaments, could not be bound with all the available rope in the house, they decided that Krishna was so fortunate that Krishna could not be bound by any material condition. Thus, they gave up the idea of binding Krishna. But in the end, the competition between Krishna and his devotee, Krishna sometimes agrees to be defeated. Thus, Krishna's internal energy, Yoga Maya, was brought to work, and ultimately Krishna agreed to be bound by Mother Yashoda. This pastime of Krishna as Damodara is very difficult to understand, but the devotees can understand it. It is therefore said that Krishna displays the transcendental attribute of coming under the control of his devotees. Herein is a comparative study between Mother Yashoda and all other devotees of Krishna. The only supreme master is Krishna, and all others are Krishna's servants. Krishna has the transcendental quality of becoming subordinate to Krishna's servant. Now, although everyone is Krishna's servant, and although Krishna has the quality of becoming subordinate to his servant, the position of Mother Yashoda is the greatest. Lord Brahma is also a servant of Krishna, and Lord Brahma is Adi Kavi, the original creator of the universe. Nonetheless, even Brahma could not obtain such mercy as Mother Yashoda. And as for Lord Shiva, he is the topmost Vaishnava. And what to speak of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva? The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, is the Lord's constant companion in service, since she always associates with his body. But even Lakshmi could not get such mercy. Therefore, Maharaj Parikshit was surprised. He was thinking, what did Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj do in their previous lives by which they got such a great opportunity? The opportunity to be the affectionate father and mother of Krishna. There are different types of mukti or liberation, such as Sayuja, Salokya, Sarupya, Sarshti, and Samipya. But Vimukti means special mukti. When, after liberation, one is situated on the platform of Prema Bhakti, one is said to have achieved Vimukti, special mukti. That exalted platform is known as Prema, and Mother Yashoda naturally acts in such an exalted position in loving affairs. Yashoda is therefore Nitya Siddha devotee, an expansion of Krishna's Hladini potency, and Krishna's potency to enjoy transcendental bliss through expansions who are special devotees. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the son of Mother Yashoda, is very easily available to devotees, but not to tapasvis, yogis, jnanis, and others who have a bodily concept of life. Everyone is seeking Krishna, for Krishna is the supersoul of all individual souls. Everyone loves his or her own body and wants to protect it because one is within the body as the soul. And everyone loves the soul because the soul is part and parcel of the supersoul. Therefore, everyone is actually seeking to achieve happiness by reviving his or her relationship with the supersoul. The karmis, jnanis, yogis, and saintly persons are all seeking Krishna, but only by following in the footsteps of devotees who are in a direct relationship with Krishna, especially the inhabitants of Vrindavan, one can reach the supreme position of associating with Krishna. As it is said, Krishna does not leave Vrindavan even for a moment. The Vrindavan Vasis, such as Mother Yashoda, Krishna's friends, and Krishna's conjugal lovers, the young gopis with whom Krishna dances, have very intimate relationships with Krishna. And if one follows in the footsteps of these devotees, then Krishna is available. But there are those who are attached to the bodily concept of life. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, for example, have very prestigious positions, and thus they have the sense of being very exalted Ishvara, or controllers. In other words, because Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are guna avatars and have exalted positions, they have some small sense of being like Krishna. But the pure devotees who inhabit Vrindavan do not possess any bodily conception, for they are fully dedicated to the service of the Lord in sublime affection, or prema. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore recommended that the highest perfection of life is pure love in relationship with Krishna, and Mother Yashoda appears to be the topmost of devotees who have obtained this perfection. Sri Damodar ki Jai.